Well, hello everyone, and welcome to round 6 of the RR League's GT3 Masters Edition 7. And we are here at the legendary, the staple of this series as well, Spa-Francorchamps, always on the calendar. And we are set for the longest ever GT3 Masters race, 2.4 hours. So the ultimate challenge for the drivers. More about that race in just a bit, of course. First of all, these are the conditions the drivers will be facing. Unpredictable weather. As you can see in the background, it's currently raining on the server. So we were due some rain. We had some in Hungaroring, but not that much. But at the moment, I'm seeing some reports of the puddle of death on Camel Strait imminent with this amount of rain. So we'll see what that brings. We have a 20-minute qualifying session coming up in about 5 minutes. That will set us up for the 2.4-hour race. And we need to take into account starting at 7 p.m. local time. So we will be driving into the darkness. Another challenge for the drivers. Before we dive into Spa, we have plenty of time for that. We will be looking at the previous race. And that was, as I already mentioned, at the Hungaroring for round 5. And it was Cliff Bulke, our edition number 5 Masters champion, taking a long-awaited win. Was a long time coming. He took the win in front of Florian Kutz and Max Bayer. And as I already mentioned, it was a changeable condition race where it was very, very tricky to pick the correct tire. But in the second half of the race, even with a 5-second penalty slapped on, in the end, Cliff Bulke took the win with 10 seconds in front of Florian Kutz. And Max Bayer, after a lot of action during the race, took third spot, crucially in front of his main rival for the championship, Bram de Pretre. And it was actually useless racers who were the top scorers in terms of teams championship. Behind them were Intense Racing and Finger Racing in third spot. And actually, it was Damien de Grasse's race to lose or to win. He was comfortably leading with a healthy gap. I think it was about 15 seconds at some point before he lost internet connection. So that was very unfortunate. He was looking very dominant to score another win, but it wasn't meant to be. And unfortunately for tonight, he will not be joining us. And then lastly, looking at the AM Cup, Sven de Wulf took the win there. And most importantly, he took his first top 10 finish. And it was a big grid. I think it was 30, let me check, 34 drivers. And Sven was in the top 10 after a last corner incident between Jack Camaletto, Robert Horvat, where Robert lost out and Sven de Wulf could sneak past. He was hanging behind those two guys in the final stages of that race. So yeah, massive congratulations, putting a massive 10 spots, 10 pro drivers, so to speak, finishing between him and second place man Stefan Firlos. Sven Hecke took third spot in the AM Cup. And now, what does that give us in terms of drivers' championships? Well, here you go. Max Bayer finishing in front of Bram de Pretre crucially makes that gap quite a bit bigger. Bram finishing in 8th at Hungaroring, now a 50-point deficit. So with only 3 more rounds to go, Bram needs something special now to keep Max Bayer honest, and Cliff Bulke is only 2 points behind. So that top 3 is looking very strong. And let's see if anyone can put the challenge to Max Bayer in the following 3 races. Spa today in 2 weeks' time, we go to Brands Hatch, and then we finish off the season at the Nürburgring. So plenty of good tracks coming, but today it's time for Spa. In terms of Teams Championship, it's intense racing moving to the front with 507 points. Yeah, a bit of a margin to R2E, but they are eager to come back. They only finished with one driver. Can't remember which one of the Mackenberg brothers it was. And useless racers, as I said, top scorers in the Hungaroring race, storming to third spot. But Grizzly Racing and Team WRT are not too far behind. So let's see what the Teams Championship brings for us after this 6th round of the championship. And then finally, the Nations Cup, Germany in front of Poland, in front of Belgium. And so today we're in Spa, we are in Belgium, so let's see if after this race the Belgians can move up a spot and make the country proud. So we are getting ready for the qualifying session. So we'll give you some pictures of that. 15 seconds left on the clock in this practice session as we drive around with Robert Horvat. And at the moment, let's have a quick look. It's Bram de Pretre who is quickest, only by a couple of thousandths of a second in front of Max Bayer. So yeah, there you have it. That's what we're looking for. And Cliff Bulke in fourth is not that far back, but as you can see, changeable conditions mean that it's going to be a tough race and a difficult one to win and to get everything right across those 2.4 hours of racing, the longest race of this season. And here is Marvin Mackenberg in the Lamborghini making his way through the circuit, trying to optimize tire pressures. Very certainly driving the wet weather tires. There's no question about that. At the Hungaroring, it was a bit hit and miss whether it was dries or wets, but this is very much wet weather conditions. So normally we should be having a wet qualifying around Spa-Francorchamps, which nicely caught Marvin. So that means actually 20 minutes only on the clock. Not that many laps to actually get in a lap, or not that much time to get in a lap, because, well, as you can see on the timing sheets, in these wet conditions, 2 minutes 30 seconds is about the pace we could be looking for. And that's substantially longer than any of the other tracks on the calendar. So that's another challenge for the drivers to get up that qualifying session. Everybody heading out, and well, you can guess who will be out of the pits as the first driver. Once again, let's see if there's anyone in front. Nope. Once again, somehow it's Bram de Pretre always taking to the track first. It's a virtue, let's say. Everybody on their outlaps. Let's get a quick glimpse of, first of all, how many drivers we have. 29 drivers currently in the qualifying session. So not too bad for the 6th round of the championship. And we have some absentees that should be returning for the next race. So let's hope that that is true. I have my timing sheet open here. So we'll be giving you live updates on how things are progressing. And you will see in the background, there's a black Lamborghini. And actually, now that we have a little bit of time to talk about that, that is actually Rob Taplin. We're used to seeing him in the gray, orange, and green livery, but today Useless Racers are in a black livery in honor of their Useless Race or Useless Gamers community fellow who has just passed away. And let me quickly check. It was Philippe Martin, a Frenchman, part of that community for about 17 years already. So yeah, Rob and Paul running in the black livery today in honor of Philippe Martin. Let's hope they can do him proud in this session. And why not? Rob and Paul have been doing it very well. Let's go on board with Rob Taplin in the wet in qualifying, and I'll shut up for a full lap of Spa-Francorchamps in the wet. So Rob here, second across the line, 6 tenths behind Bram de Pretre with a 2:29.1. And two things that I noticed. Quite some puddles and rivers on the track, especially here at the top of Radio and going into Fagnes. So very challenging indeed. Let's hope that doesn't wreak havoc in the opening lap of this race, as you can see here. And also looks like Rob is running the car pretty low to the ground in some spaces, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Let's have a look at who's going quickly. The beautiful Paradigm Shift livery for Radek Pavlacek. Currently 1.9 off the pace. Max Bayer in third spot, 7 tenths off the pace, and we'll see everyone pretty much in the top 16 currently improving, and quite a lot actually. Max Bayer, Rob Taplin, or Rob Taplin actually more than a second up on his own time, so we go back to the useless racer. 1.2 seconds up on his own time, so getting in a very good lap through Fagnes. The Lamborghini taking up spots 2, 3 and 4 at the moment, while Rollins puts himself right behind Bram de Pretre. Ralph Arella also massively improving together with Yves Van Sande. They're a bit further back, so we'll see where they end up. But Rob Taplin at the moment 1.5 seconds up on his previous best, so that will easily snatch him pole. And he has one more difficult braking zone and chicane to master, and then get the power down. So Rob Taplin will take provisional pole with 12 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock. There he goes. 2:28.4 is the new benchmark. Simon Verzel. I'm seeing if I can find him in the beautiful Red Bull Roadrunners livery. He is 1.5 seconds up on his previous best, while Sven de Wulf in 16th at the moment is again looking at provisional pole in the AM Cup. So the final chicane for Simon. He will jump up the order to P6 probably. P7, almost right. Cliff Bilke putting himself into second spot now, and Bram de Pretre is now improving as well. Where is he on the track? Going through Speaker's Corner, so quite a long ways to go. He's currently not improving. Kevin Rollins, however, is half a second up on his previous best. Ralph Arella as well. Marvin Mackenberg in 13th is 1 second up, so that would put him closer to the top 5. At the moment, quite a couple of drivers from 24th down as we make it to 30 drivers on the grid. Not set a time yet, so track cuts in these difficult conditions might play a role. Kevin Rollins again putting it in second spot, 2/10 down. There we go, Bram finishing up his lap. He is improving slightly, 2.5 tenths, so that will could put him into second spot as he gets past Dirk Weicht in the WR team car. Let's see, Bram de Pretre across the line, and he stays in 4th. Lost a bit of time there in the final sector. Don't think Dirk Weicht has anything to do with that, but maybe we'll hear it afterwards. So a nice spread all throughout the field. Of course, gaps bigger because of 2 reasons: a long track and difficult conditions. Rob Taplin with the 2:28.4 at the moment, still setting the benchmark. And it looks like the rain, well, in about 2 minutes time it will start raining a little bit less, so then the track might get a bit quicker. Let's go back to Simon Verzel, who just crossed the line, goes into 6th. At the moment it's de Pretre in front of Bayer. Very interesting to see. And Paul Heron the other useless racer, improving by about 7 tenths. And he's in the final sector, and you can see it's quite busy out there. 30 drivers, 30 cars at Spa. Shouldn't be too big of a problem, but you never know. He's Paul Heron will be improving. He will be jumping to P9, I'm guessing. Oh, onto the grass, so no improvement for him at the moment. But Bram is on a flyer. Let's have a quick look. In the last sector, try to keep it within the white lines, Bram. You're 6 tenths up, so quite easily snatching pole from Rob if he can keep it together through the final braking zone. And of course the tricky Blanchimont, oh, very wide, and again that's an invalidated qualifying lap, unfortunately, taking just a bit too much risk, as Jack Camaletto in P17 is also improving by almost a second. Alessandro Penny does this as well. Ralph Arella as well. Let's have a look at Ralph in the intense racing. 77 Mercedes across the line from P11 becomes P7 for Ralph Arella. Good job. And P2 from last time around, Florian Kutz at the moment in P11, but he is also improving. So Sven Hecke at the moment, class of the field in the AM Cup, quite a ways in front of Sven de Wulf. That is, let's see, about 8 tenths of a second. So quite a big gap there. And intense racing in the Porsches, Bilke and Dora, 3rd and 4th. Really putting their grasp firmly onto that team's championship and really going for that. And of course, Cliff still realistically has a shot to the Drivers' Championship. Max Bayer didn't have any big issues yet this season. Let's hope that stays that way, of course, but could spice things up. 50-point gap at the moment. Max Bayer is massively improving. I have to see where he is. Ooh, a bit looked like a cut maybe on the outside there, but he's 1.2 seconds up on his own time. So if you can just keep it easy, very nice, then he will take provisional pole. Cy Fillingham as well, jumping up to P11, 1 second improvement over the previous his previous lap. And Max Bayer jumps to the front, 6 tenths between him and Rob Taplin. Bayer the first one to take down that benchmark time by Rob Taplin, so good job in taking advantage, I'm guessing, of that slightly drier patch, slightly drier period in the session here. So let's see, De Pretre putting it in second and immediately improving further. So the track is getting quick. Pavlacek improving. Verzeil, Arella, Horvat. What is 1 second up? Horvat, P10 at the moment. And in the final sector now, he could be P3, P4 if he keeps this up. Let's see, Ferrari not working too badly here at Spa in the rain. Quite a lot of Ferraris as well, but let's see. Oh, Horvat having a good one, a bit too deep into the chicane it seems. Not really, not losing that much time. He will jump up from 10th to 3rd spot. And Bayer and De Pretre both improving by about 2 tenths for Bayer, 3 tenths for De Pretre, and there's only 1 tenth between them. And it looks like everybody more or less just taking wet tires and staying out, not going for any out laps or stuff like that. The whole top 10 at the moment slightly improving. Cliff Bilke is the main man, half a second up on his own time. And the Pretre 4/10 up now on his own time as well. Let's keep an eye out for that. Byers has had a spin. He's aborted this lap at least. But Cliff Bilke 6/10 up now on his time. Still a long way to go. And Sven de Wilf has gotten in front of Sven Hecke by 7 thousandths of a second. And Sven Hecke is in the pits and needs to get out now if he still wants to get a lap in. Not sure if he will manage that. Let's keep an eye out for that. And de Pretre, as I said, was improving about 4/10. He's now in provisional pole with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. So anyone who wants to get another lap in needs to cross the finish line right now, as Kevin Rowlands casually up there in third. We've not focused on him that much, but he has had some solid performances. He's half a second up. Robert Horvat as well improving. Bilke 8/10 up at the moment. And de Wilf getting another lap in and putting some other drivers between him and Sven Hecke. He will be happy with that. Again, de Pretre and Beyer still improving, but Rowlands a second up. So at the moment, he's on for pole, but he needs to keep it together. And the two guys at the front are also improving. Bilke jumped into P3 now. Where is his teammate Dora P5? So also a good job. And the final sector now for Rowlands. At the moment he's on for being very close to pole, but the Pretre and Beyer are improving. Let's keep an eye out for their laps. Beyer is slightly quicker at the moment, braking for the chicane for Rowlands, as Rob Taplin has gone into the pits, so no more laps for him. Oh, this will be close, this will be close. Can Rowlands snatch provisional pole? No, he doesn't. Second spot. That's not something that Max Beyer will want to see. Let's have a look. Beyer through the chicane. And he will improve. He will take provisional pole. I think, yes he does. 15 hundredths of a second. 15 thousandths of a second. I'm sorry. And de Pretre. Where is de Pretre? Also through the chicane. No, de Pretre has got it. This is going to be very close. Yes! De Pretre ever so slightly edging Max Beyer out, 10 thousandths of a second between them. And Cliff Bilke, in terms of time, a bit of a ways back, but still going very strong. And de Pretre, oh sorry, it's not over yet. Now it's over, so both de Pretre and Beyer have another lap in them. Rowlands and Bilke are in the pits. Arella is still improving. Let's see where Arella is. Because he might be... I don't know, he's just started the lap. So I don't think that will still count. Not sure. I don't think it should. We'll see. Anyway, de Pretre improving and also Max Beyer improving. Let's go with the challenger at the moment. Max Beyer, they're neck and neck. They're thousands between them right now, even with their improved times. Beyer going through a good section now. And he's 1/10 up on de Pretre's new time. It's now switching back to de Pretre, who is a bit quicker, so this will be mighty close. if they keep it together. The rest of the field more or less set. Sven Meckenberg jumping into P13. Oh, Max Bayer is about 1/10 quicker now than Bram. Bram is behind, of course. Was that a cut? Not sure. In any case, final braking zone. Perfect through the chicane. And Bayer will take provisional pole. Let's see if De Pretre can challenge him. 60 thousandths of a second. And here is De Pretre. Oh, this will be close. This will be very, very close. But De Pretre gets it with 2 thousandths of a second. My lord. 2 thousandths of a second in the wet around a 7 kilometer long track. Hats off to you guys. Hats off to everybody, because you can see the top 20 covered by 2 seconds. It's incredibly close up and down the field, and a tricky qualifying session for everybody. I'm quite sure of that. But De Pretre one-ups Max Bayer. So this is the perfect setup for what could be a bit of a comeback. Yeah, snatching some points from Max in this 6th round of the championship. Good to see Nigel in the chat. No worries for not racing. Your teammate Dirk will take the honors, I'm sure. Maybe we can have a talk to him in the formation lab. Let me quickly have a look where he is in the qualifying session. Qualified to be 28. It looks like we lost a driver because we are now only 29. Let me quickly check our Discord channel. Manu Hoedemakers. Unfortunately, getting some crashes, so we might not be seeing him on the grid again tonight. Unfortunately, technical issues plaguing some drivers. Damien de Grasse, now Manu Hoedemakers, other drivers as well. Well, it's part of sim racing. Just hope it doesn't happen too often. So everybody getting ready for the start. We have increased the countdown timer to 5 minutes before this race to give everybody a chance to take a bit of a break, because we have 2.4 hours of racing on the clock. And well, there's no bathroom breaks normally unless you have a big crash, so everybody getting that done, and the whole field looking very, very ready to go racing here at Spa-Francorchamps. Going to take a quick break myself, and I'll be right here with you to watch the race start and the formation lap with possibly some interviews. So final preparations, everybody gridding up, and we'll have a quick peek in just a bit how the weather is looking like for the next 30 minutes as we get the weather forecast. But everybody getting ready. 10 seconds now before we start the formation lap. And we will have a quick talk, I think, with Sven de Wulf as we go. Like that. So Sven de Wulf still has to start his formation lap, and let's see if we can talk to him. Hi Sven, can I interrupt you for a moment during formation lap?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So again, qualifying in pole position in the AM Cup, but all the other competitors are right there with you. Might be tricky in these conditions for the start.
Yeah, I think the standings will look a lot different at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's hope not too much, but it's a long race, so let's hope everybody can just, not make mistakes or stupid mistakes, and we can have a good lap 1.
Yep, I'm
All
sure
right.
hoping it's the same.
Indeed. All right, have a good one, and maybe we'll talk a bit later.
Thank you, bye.
Cheers. Good luck, Frank, as well. So Sven, as you could hear, sounded quite concentrated, not too eager to talk, so that's good. As I said, he has Dennis, Vierloos, Hekke, and Van Sande there, but then Hannah Song, Dirk Weigt, Frank Keurvelds all there with him. So there's no gaps, no cushion between him and his rivals. He's currently leading that championship. We didn't really focus on that earlier. Let's see if we can quickly pull that up, actually. There it is. So Sven de Wulf, P23 overall, 108 points. Hannah Song in second place in the AM Cup, 79 points. Dirk Weigt, 71 points. So quite a healthy gap for Sven, but these races here are the ones where it can all fall apart. So he had an impressive showing at the Hungaroring as everybody is starting to slow down. Let's see if we can get a good view here of the field. It's raining, and it will keep raining like this for at least half an hour, but the race is 5 half hours more or less long, so we'll have plenty of possible weather change or not. It's quite random, but rain was predicted for this race. People have practiced for it, and it has come, so we'll see. So to all of the viewers on the stream, if you have any questions, anyone in particular you want to have some focus on, just let us know. The race is plenty long enough to have a look at someone who doesn't get that much airtime. I try to spread my attention a bit throughout the field, but that's not always that easy, so feel free to point out anything you want to see. Everybody now lining up, and we are only going green after La Source, so the timing line is here for qualifying, but the start line is after the hairpin of La Source. Everybody getting into position. We have Bram de Pretre in the Mercedes on the left, Max Bayer on the right. I'm pretty sure we won't see any side-by-side action from these two through Origin Radio, but never say never, we'll see. Then the second line, Kevin Rowlands and Robert Horvat and Cliff Bulke, Radek Pavlacek. Good qualifying, by the way, for him. As we make our way down. 2 hours and 24 minutes on the clock for round 6 of this championship. And we are green at Spa. Bram makes it through the turn first in single file. Let's see. Everybody at the moment, very nicely done. The whole field close. And no incident so far, it looks like. Now the second braking zone, always a tough one as well. More side-by-side action there, but again, oh, that's I think Penny a bit sideways in the Aston Martin, but very well behaved, I think. Let's have a look at the track map. Oh, number 95 is unfortunately stranded. Number 95. To check who that is. Don't see them right now, so let's focus on something else. At the front, it's Bram de Pretre Bayer. It was Simon Verzel who is in the pits. I can't see him on my timing screen, so he must have gone out of the server, I suspect. Anyway, let's focus on the drivers that we do have. Unfortunately for Simon Verzel, Manu Hoedemakers, his teammate, having some technical difficulties, and Simon, I guess, having an incident on the Camel Straight. But we'll see. No, now Simon is showing up. He escaped back to the pits, it seems. And getting repairs. A long race, so everything still to play for. And Sven de Wilf is right here in the thick of it, as you can see. But he has put Fillingham and Van Sande between him and Dirk Weicht and Stefan Vierloos. So a good start for him. De Pretre now 1.6 seconds already in front of Max Bayer. So good for him. And we might see a bit bigger gaps in this race due to the conditions, but that won't make it any less exciting. We have the Mackenberg brothers running back to back in 15th and 16th position. As there is some side-by-side action there, a bit further to the front. Oh, look at this. It's Ralph Arella. It's Olivier Kouwenberg. It's David Torre, Rob Taplin in the black useless racers car. And at the moment, Arella at the front of this pack. And Bram de Pretre with the fastest lap of the race. So this is a nice nice train of cars, let's say, as you can see on the timing tower. Everybody, oh, so close. Let's have a look from Jack Camaletto's onboard, shall we? Helmet cam. So quite a bit of spray, but nothing too dramatic. Quite a couple of puddles to negotiate, but it's all doable, let's say. And actually, oh, very close there, a bit further to the front. Radek Pavlacek. It's actually Cliff Bulke who is at the front of this pack. So if we look back from Cliff, we have Horvat, we have Pavlacek, who we can see, but then immediately behind, it's Arella, it's Kaunga, Hitsdorf, Taplin, Penny, Kutz, Kolseman, Camaletto, Mackenberg again, Manojlovic, De Wolf, all within 1 second of each other. So there you can see them all on the main straight, going over that puddle there at the top of Camel Straight. Never easy. And my timing already stopped working, so I'll need to restart that. But let's see if Bilke can work his magic like at the Hungaroring. At least he has, at the moment, some clear air in front of him. Kevin Rowlands is a bit further up the road. Yellow flag. And yeah, we have lost Simon Verzeil, unfortunately, so no points for Red Bull Road Runners in this race. It's very, very unfortunate. And Paul Heron in last position on the track, but in last position at the moment. Driving around on his own, but he will soon close up on the field, and he has already taken his pit stop. So I think, yeah, Paul also did that in Bathurst, where we also had a 2-hour race, and actually, oh, sorry, things were acting up a bit here, but actually he did pit early there as well, because we have 2 mandatory pit stops in this race for fuel, and you can just about maybe in the wet make it on 1 stop. So there's a splash and dash which is mandatory, and he got that out of the way right now with well, rain at least forecast for the next 30 minutes. So he's the only one to take that strategy, but of course number 46, let's have a quick look. He has clean air, he's just in front, let's say 15 seconds in front of Bram de Preter. So if he can stay in front, we'll have a nice clean track to just keep his head down, focus, and try to build from there to make it into a good result. Top 10 maybe, we'll see. Robert Horvat now not letting Pavlacek go, but he needs to keep an eye out for Ralph Arella, 8-time RR Leagues champion, behind him, and all the whole rest of the field, obviously. Let's have a look. No news from Simon yet, actually. Let's have a quick look at what happened to Simon there in the beginning of the race. Then we know. Here is Simon. Let's see. There he is. Oh, very unfortunate collision with, that must be Camaletto, and then being collected. And luckily, not a lot of carnage at the front there. Well, there's one more car that will probably then be maybe Paul Heron was forced into that strategy, but yeah, very unfortunate there for Simon Verzel as Bram de Pretre 2.7 seconds in front of Bayer. Kevin Rowlands 5.4 seconds back. But then it's ever so close between all of these guys here. Dore following Kouwenberg, following Taplin, with Penny and Cuts right behind. So a five-way battle for P8. Oh, Kouwenberg goes a bit wide. Through Brussels. Now Speaker's Corner, can Cliff stick it around the outside? No, he doesn't. Oh, but Penny will take two positions in one corner, and Cuts wants a piece of that action as well. Gets past Dore and gets past Kouwenberg. And Dore gets past Kouwenberg, so great racing and great racecraft from these guys. But in the end, Taplin is still in front. And Manojlovic has split the Mackenberg brothers in P15 at the moment. And also there, Mackenberg, de Wilf, Fillingham, Van Zande. Oh, so close. And Sven de Wilf right there with these guys in P17 now. Manojlovic has to take the points for Pantera Blue now. Oh, as they go side by side in the background. That is Sven de Wilf. Yeah, side by side with Fillingham. He wants to get past. And I bet Yves wants to follow through, but let's see if that happens. Goes for the inside. Oh, small tap. And luckily they keep each other out of any big time loss, but just didn't leave each other, both drivers didn't leave enough room there on the apex of La Source, but they live to fight another day. Oh, Dore. That was close. Will he lose the position? Goes defensive right in front of Kouwenberg's nose. But Dore struggling a bit with the rear, with throttle application here in the wet. Start raining a bit less in about half an hour's time, 20 minutes more or less. That has been on the screen for quite a while. But everything staying quite close. That is for sure. Quick look a bit further down the field. timing has crashed again. Luckily, you don't have that issue. But it was showing Fillingham and Van Sande behind Sven de Wulf again. Trying to reconnect to the broadcast tools. At the moment, it's not letting me, so we'll have to change cameras from this perspective for just a tiny bit. This will start working very, very shortly. So Kuntz still very much in the mix there, right in the top 10, but at the front at the moment Max Bayer, very dominant as you can see, number 44, and they are closing down Paul Heron in the number 46 car, but you can see visually that gap here on the track map. Let's give it another try. Going to quickly reconnect to the server, and I'll be right back with you.
Green line, go, go, go.
Alright, so we are back. If we give you images, we have joined Stefan Vierloos, who is right behind Hannah Song in the AM Cup. Everything now seems to work for me, so let's hope it stays that way for a little bit. Jack Camaletto has also served his first pit stop, forced or not, we'll have to see, but he's behind Paul Heron at least. And well, the Prêtre actually coming up quite close to Heron, so let's ride on board and see how the first back marker of the session is being handled. Of course, everyone wants to try and stay in front, because once you start being lapped, you'll inevitably lose some time, because Meyer, Rollins, Bulke, they're not that far behind. And Marvin Mackenberg, Sven Mackenberg, Cy Fillingham also battling very, very hard. The ball letting Bram through without any issues. Nicely done indeed. Wanted to see here. So this is Manolovic, Marvin Mackenberg, Sven Mackenberg and Cy Fillingham. Four-way battle, and Sven de Wulf a bit further down the road sees these four guys going at it. And of course, as always, wants to join the party. We've seen from Sven, he's not one to shy away from a battle. And Cy looking good to challenge Sven Mackenberg at the moment. His teammate Arella in 7th spot is not too bad either. So everybody settling in, also David Dore. So that's Kuts. Kuts got past Dore. Kuts was in 10th earlier. Or was there another change? You might probably know. I didn't keep an eye out for that. As we reach the 2-hour mark left on the clock. So 2 hours is, or was, our maximum GT3 Masters race time until now. 2.4 hours of Spa, as Dore puts it around the outside in the chicane. Kuts leaves some room, and Dore moves up into P9, almost vulnerable from Alessandro Penny there, Florian Kuts. They want to hunt down Rob Taplin, and well, everything seems settled down now, but I assure you that within the next 2 hours some kind of drama will unfold eventually. Spa always, especially in these conditions, and we're driving into the night, so it's now 8 p.m. on the server. We will be driving into the darkness in the rain, and as you can see, it will start raining less and less and less. We'll see if that has an impact on the tire choice for the drivers, but that's all for the future. Dore now P9, his teammate Bulke in P4. That makes these guys, let's see, the top scoring team. Yes, they do. Horvat doesn't have his teammate. Arella is 7th with Fillingham in 17th. Oh, and Dirk Weicht picking up a drive-through penalty. That must be for track cuts already after 24 minutes, unfortunately for him. But as I was saying, Bram doesn't have a teammate here. Max Spire teamed up with Ruud Dennis in 21st position. Kevin Rowlands, is he in a team with Sven Hecke? No, he's not. No. He's not, right? Let's check. No, that's not the case. And also Stefan Vierlos has taken his first pit stop of the session. And Olivier Kouwenberg has only joined us for a couple of races in this series, but he's had some great action so far, the Belgian. Actually, quite some Belgians in the top 10 at the moment. So let's see if that translates into Nations Cup points in the future. Kuts and Kosunen, 10th and 13th, also not doing too badly. Was that Kouwenberg cooling off his tires already? That could be interesting if there's already some kind of drier line forming now with rain. That will start easing off ever so slightly in the coming half an hour. So I'm sure this will be, as I said, a very interesting race in the next 2 hours. We will see plenty of action and plenty of changes in strategy as Dor goes very, very wide there through Pouhon, now into Fagnes. And Robert Horvat, after his good showing in qualifying at the Hungaroring and a good opening stint, dropped back then a bit after an incident, but still P6 now for him. Looking very solid, and Radek Pavlacek as well doing a good job both in the Ferrari P5, P6. And with these gaps, well, they're too big to go side by side, of course, but any small mistake means you will lose one, maybe more positions. And the people in the grandstands, they're not very lucky with this weather, but if you go to Spa, you have to come prepared, of course. But yeah, we can see the racing line, so might be already starting to get a little bit drier, where drivers, when they can, try to cool down their tires, especially here on Camel Straight. Yeah, you see Horvat as well going to the right for no other reason than to cool down his tires with some more water. So half an hour into this race, strategy already becoming important. It's of course too wet to go to slicks now, but a case could be made for pitting and changing pressures, of course. 30 seconds lost on your tire stop. You can get your fuel, your mandatory fuel stop, done simultaneously with that, but still 30 seconds is quite a lot. Let's have a look at lap times actually, shall we? We have Bram de Pretre, fastest driver so far with a 2:27.3, 4/10 quicker than Max Beyer. They are the only two drivers in the 2:27s actually, and actually that fastest lap was set on the last on his last lap for Bram. He was 9/10 quicker than Max Beyer on the final on his last lap now. So at the moment, Bram really enjoying the conditions, or maybe pushing as hard as he can to get an early pit stop in. 27.6 now for Bram. And a 28.1 for Bayer. So half a second slower. Kevin Rowlands is matching the lap times of Max Bayer. And Cliff Bilke going a little bit slower now than the guys behind him, Pavlacek, Horvat, Arella. So margins are tiny, tiny, tiny. And as I said, Sven de Wilf never shies away from a good battle. Here he is. He closed down the gap to Cy Fillingham again. He's now putting him under pressure. Getting some good spray. And Mercedes almost jumping away from Cy there. And that puddle is really, really something. Let's see, can Sven put it around the outside? He doesn't need to. He's first into the braking zone and makes the pass on Cy Fillingham. So it's now Fillingham, Van Sande and Tino de Munk. Between him and Ruud Dennis, who is doing a fabulous job in P2 in the AM Cup at the moment. In front of Sven Hekke, Song, Kurvelds, Weicht and Vierloos. Of course, these final three drivers have already pitted. And we'll have to see if they jump up the order or if they actually had an issue with the car forcing them to already get or make a trip down the pit lane. Rob Taplin has been closing the gap on Ralph Arella. He's, for his best lap, he's 6/10 quicker than Arella, but on the last lap, not that much, but still. Taplin looking good to maybe challenge Arella for P7. Again on the last lap, De Pretre and Bayer, the only drivers into the 227s, and only 1/10 between them. De Pretre in this case 1/10 quicker once again. So we'll have to see if Bayer can find something in the next 1 hour and 50 minutes to close down that gap. We know that tire pressures are immensely important, so if the track conditions are changing, then the case will be, what do you do in your pit stop? Do you change tires? And if so, what pressures do you pick, and does that give you an advantage? Because yeah, that's I think what we also saw with Cliff in Hungaroring. He had superior pressures to Florian Guts, and he was quicker on the track by quite a margin, a lot more than he was earlier in the race compared to Florian. So pressures play a huge role here, especially in the wet, where now drivers have to take some action to try and cool down their tires. must say, Horvat and Pavlacek really keeping each other honest, and Cliff not able to stay close to Kevin Rowlands in front, but he has these two guys, very experienced sim racers and long-time members actually of this community, right behind him, and they won't make a mistake so easily. And again, you see Horvat cooling down his tires. Pavlacek is fine, so that's all down to pressures, all down to pressures and heat in those tires. Taplin versus Arella is still on, but more crucially maybe for the top 10, Kouwenberg. Let's go full arcade mode on the bonnet cam. Let's not do that. A big puddle there, as you could hear, for the Ferraris going into Fagnes in the braking zone. But yeah, Horvat close to Pavlacek, Taplin close to Arella. Oh! Was actually looking at my other screen, so spin for Olivier Kouwenberg. Unfortunately, he was putting the pressure on cuts, but as you can see, a small mistake now puts him behind at least Penny. I think that's in front, so just a small spin, but immediately time lost, and crucially positions lost for him. No, that's Sven Mackenberg actually, who he is behind. He's right in front. Of Cy Fillingham now. No, he's not, sorry. He's in between the two R2E drivers. Going a bit wide, but Olivier Kouwenberg has his work cut out for him once again. We'll see Taplin versus Arella, Lamborghini versus Mercedes. By on the last lap, taking a tenth off of Bram de Pretre. Taplin, you can see he has some potential to go quicker, but of course you need to get past Ralph Arella first, and that's just not an easy thing to do, especially when he's in his element. Manojlovic as well, right on the tail of Tomi Kosunen. And Dore actually got past cuts and has now well, more or less checked out. Can he close down these two guys? Let's have a look at lap times. Yeah, well, on the last lap, he's 7/10 quicker than Taplin and 4/10 quicker than Arella. So we might be onto something here. Currently, P3 is Kevin Rowlands, and he's negotiating some lap traffic in front of him. That's, I guess it's Paul Heron. So that means actually that Paul, well, of course got passed by Bayer, but those gaps are quite big, and it's been quite a bit of time that we saw him, so he's doing some consistent laps, which is good, which will catapult him up the grid at a later stage in the race. And actually, Radek Pavlacek has joined the 227 club. He has done a 227.8 on his last lap, so possibly this means that the track is getting quicker. But it looks like it will remain wet for quite a bit of time still. Let's have a quick look at the track map. So we have our race leader coming up to the timing line. We have 777 in between him and Max Bayer. 777, that's Frank Kervelds. Kevin Rowlands has two more drivers in front of him. And as you can see, Jack Camaletto, number 13, at the end of Camel Straight there at the top of your screen. In clean air, Stefan Vierloos and Paul Heron a bit more involved, but this could be a good strategy at least. As Cy Fillingham let's claw his way back onto the back of Sven Mackenberg. Late on the brakes for Cy. Perfect line for him. Down to the lowest point of the circuit and then back up through Eau Rouge at the bottom and Radio here at the top. Oh, actually, Rowlands has had an issue because Bulke is now in third position. Let's first look if Rowlands... No, he's back up to speed. But let's have a quick look if you can see what happened to Kevin Rowlands. We were just talking about him. Shame that we missed it. Oh. Going full throttle across Radio. Slamming the brakes. Oh, yeah, that was... let's see. That was Dirk Weicht, actually. Let's go back a little bit. Dirk Weicht was in front of him, yeah. He gets loose over the top of Radio, has a crash, and that forces Kevin to brake hard, get back up to speed on Camel Straight. And Cliff, Radek, and Robert join the party. Cliff gets past. Radek and Robert need to stay behind for now. Cliff now making his way onto the podium after a little bit of drama and an unfortunate, very unfortunate spin there for Dirk Weigt, who has, as I see now, unfortunately exited the race. So the car not feeling good to him. The gap at the front now more or less staying the same, but gap to third position, Cliff Bilke already 30 seconds back from our race leader. But now, of course, this battle, fun to watch for the podium. Robert Horvat in the red Ferrari, Radek Pavlacek in the yellow Ferrari. Then it's a BMW for Kevin Rowlands, dropped the spot. And Alessandro Penny picking up a drive-through, unfortunately. So yeah, that will be a thing as well in this race. Track cuts in these conditions are easily picked up, and it's a long race. So once you get to 4 cuts, you get a drive-through penalty and your counter resets to 0. So Penny will have to drive through the pit lane, and on some tracks not that big of a deal, but here at Spa-Francorchamps it's a massive part of the lap, because you have to do both pits on the start finish straight, and then also going down to Eau Rouge. So very tricky and a lot of time lost there, unfortunately. We'll see where Alessandro ends up, but status quo. Let's have a quick look at next lap times. Bilke 28.3, Rowlands 28.0, Pavlacek 28.3, Horvat 28.4, and Arella 28.1. So Arella a bit quicker, these guys, but they are going well. And the Pretre and Bayer into the low 27s, 26.9 even for the Pretre, not on his last lap. So the Bayer and the Pretre going quicker and quicker. It starts getting a little bit drier indeed. Penny in the pits for his drive-through. Majnolovic in the pits for what I'm guessing is a normal stop. Let's see. Car doesn't look too bad, so that should be a normal stop for him. As you can see, first part of the pits, then hairpin turn, and a whole second part of the pits still to go. And he has Penny in front of him. Filling him. Still in front of the Wolf. Still behind Mackenberg. Katz and Gossonen in 10th and 11th. Good job for them as a team. Had some good racing as well at I think I was on Garring 2 weeks ago as well. So no, sorry, then should have been Bathurst or something. But we were together on track earlier this season as well for some nice battles. Majnolovic out of the pits. That was more or less a 30-second stop, so careful here with that puddle, Lemagna. gets through that. So stop done for Nemanja, and he's in P23. He is out of the pits. Where is Paul Heron? Not too far back. So actually, that's not looking too bad for Paul. And Bram de Pretre as well in the pit lane. In his box already. And dropping down the order. Let's see if we can see where he gets back out. It's number 44 standing in the pits there that we need to follow, but he will come out quite clean air. He's up and running. Number 79 will get past him. That's Tino de Munk, and he will rejoin behind, so not in a big pack like we are watching in the background. A very, very dirty car for Olivier Kouwenberg. So that puts Bayer and Bilke and Roland's back on the podium. And these guys still very, very closely together. Will they dive into the pits as well? We have yeah, Bayer is in the pits, just coming into the pits now. So is that to change tires and adjust pressures? I assume it is. And to cover off Bram de Pretre, of course. Anyone else in the pits? No, it's just Bayer and de Pretre looking at each other for the championship, obviously. So we will find out in just a bit if de Pretre had a good pit stop or not. Pretre P18 now, so a lot of positions for one pit stop. But as I said, as Kouwenberg looks at the inside of Kosonen and Mackenberg, Marvin Mackenberg right there with them. I was saying long pit lane and then a 30-second stop, so pushes you back quite a while. Bayer in the background is in his pit spot. Okay, Kouwenberg make the move now under the rear bumper of Kosonen. Doesn't have that much speed on the straight, it seems. Let's have a look. Bayer is back out. And where is de Pretre? He is already up and over Radio behind Tino de Munk. So the gap more or less the same, I would say, as we saw Bayer right there in the background. But Pretre already on the right hand side of the track. Was that to let Tino know that he wants to get past, or to cool down his tires? Let's hope not. Let's hope Bram did not make that mistake. Anyway, this puts Cliff Bilke on top of this race and getting past Paul Heron. And Cliff keeps on going. So we'll have to have a look at lap times from Bram de Pretre and Max Bayer. We are seeing 2:27.6 for Bilke, 2:27.8 for Roland, so Dorn as well, 2:27.9. So some good laps being put out, and Florian Kutz as well in the pits now. So very varied strategies at the moment, it seems like. Not everybody coming in on the same lap. And Majna Manojlovic picks up a drive-through, unfortunately. Plenty more to come. Kutz and Kosonen in the pits together. So that's a joint strategy for them. Kouwenberg. He was behind Kosonen, right? He's going for another lap at least. So Manojlovic, the Serb, while pushing to get past Ifan Sander in front, picking up a drive-through penalty, unfortunately. Let's see. First real lap for Bram de Preter was a 2:27.2. We're about halfway through the lap now for Max Bayer. But the gap has grown. The gap is about 10 seconds now. So a better stop for de Preter than for Bayer. So behind Bayer and de Preter, it's still a battle for the final podium spot. Bulke, Rollins, Pavlacek, Horvat within, let's say, 5 seconds of each other. Bulke a bit further up the road. Yes, he is. There he is. So that's Bulke, that's Rollins, Pavlacek, and Horvat. And we have one of the finger racing Ferraris in between them. It's a bit unfortunate, of course, to immediately lose time on your outlap. That must be Cy Fillingham now in the pits. Kouwenberg keeps going. He thinks he has the pace to get past the finger racing Ferrari he was battling for so long. So he's pushing on, trying to go for a later pit stop. Again, looking at lap times. Oh, de Preter, 2:26.0. And a 2:27.9 for Bayer, so that's 2 seconds gained in one lap for de Preter, and yeah, more than a second quicker than anyone else in the field right now. So de Preter doing well to get a pit stop in now, and I'm assuming changing some pressures. So about half of the field has pitted, other half of the field has not. We have 1 hour and 24 minutes left on the clock, so plenty of time as Pavlacek dives into the pits. Pavlacek was third in that group, battling for the final podium spot. He blinks first. Let's see if it gains in anything. Valkenbergs keep going, but Sven de Wulf heads into the pits. He was battling with Cy Fillingham. Now, eager to see, Cy is already out, but eager to see if there's any position change there. So we are down to 27 drivers, unfortunately. So a couple of dropouts. But that is to be expected. It's a long race. It's a tricky race, tricky conditions. And it's starting to get a bit darker as well. Oh, and a big slide there for for Fillingham through Pujo. That's not what you want when pushing on your out lap. Pavlacek and de Wulf in the pits. Those are the guys in the pits right now. We'll follow Cy Fillingham from the onboard here in the final sector. Number 64 is up and running. That's Pavlacek. Number 24, that's Sven de Wulf, is in the pits. And braking now for Cy Fillingham. So solid lap, I think, for Cy. But as you can see, it's not that wet anymore. So it might be good to stay out. And in any case, number 24 is out, and he will quite easily actually take that position away from Cy Fillingham. Good stop for Sven de Wulf. So I will close down a bit. Yes, Van Sander now between him and de Wulf, but well, very cool to see David Torre is in the pits. Van Sander has made his way past Sven de Wulf, and that puts him right back into the clutches of Cy Fillingham. But of course, now it's Cy hunting Sven down and not the other way around. Pavlacek had a good stop, but we have Horvat and Dore in the pits now. So once again, then we need to have a look at Pavlacek. Pavlacek finishing up his lap, and Horvat is in the pits. Again, let's pull up this. Horvat is back up and running. That was at the back of that pack. At the moment, he has to get up to speed still, but looking good for Horvat to take that position away from Radek Pavlacek. Very aggressive there, but you can see it's not raining that hard anymore, and there will be less rain even a bit later on. So yeah, Horvat had a good stop. We'll have to see if Rollins and Bulke are caught out by that as well, or not. So what's the status now? De Prêtre P7. He has Bayer behind him, but about 13 seconds Again, Bayer getting up to speed, 26.9 now, but the Predator 25.8. So the Predator really has found the magic as Kouwenberg picks up a drive-through penalty, unfortunately for him as well. So that will mix things up again. Taplin and Arella still going at it, and Rollins and Bilke. Yeah, Rollins did show the good pace in the beginning, so can't be discarded for that final podium spot, that's for sure. But let's have a look at the lap times. 2:27.4 for both Bilke and Rollins. Horvat and Pavlacek, they are still well on their outlap, so don't have any representative times to look at, but we'll look at that very, very shortly. Paul Heron already makes it up into P22 now with his early pit stop. And Fillingham actually has gotten past Sven de Wulf. And they have Ivan Sander right there to grab them, and that's actually, let's have a look on board, with Cliff Bilke, because he's right there with this battle, three-way battle going into Eau Rouge. Van Sander, Fillingham and Sven de Wulf. Fillingham at the moment taking that spot from Van Sander, and Van Sander losing out to Sven de Wulf as well. So he will be kicking himself for maybe a tiny mistake through La Source. And now how will these three guys handle blue flags? Because that's tough, right? You're in this battle, you just swap positions, you want to keep it as it is, but at some point Van Sander has to yield, and he does, for both Bilke and Rollins. Sven de Wulf and Fillingham, how will they proceed? Or will they fall back right into the clutches of Van Sander? As you can see, speed differences are not that big. It's not like Cliff is just driving up to the back of these guys. He has to spend a bit of time to gain that time, get close enough to Sven and Sai to have blue flags waved, actually, because they're not waved at the moment. Here they are, blue flags. We're on the straight now, so this is the perfect opportunity. Don't want to go for it too early, because don't want to lose too much time. I think Sven de Wulf is going to yield into the chicane. Yeah, moves over, and we'll try to follow through. Kevin Rollins goes through as well. And now Sai Fillingham can either go wide in La Source, but I think he has a big enough gap to just go through Eau Rouge and Radio, and then on Camel Straight just squeeze off, or take La Source and Radio. Take it easy, as Hannah Song is in the pits. Yeah, so Fillingham goes through the difficult part. And now possibly stay on the left-hand side. Will he brake early? Oof. It's getting close. Sai's working for it. He wants to stay in front of Sven de Wulf here, but he will have to yield now. And he does. Goes wide, and let's both P1 and P2 through. Sven de Wulf is right there. The track has changed to damp actually, so it looks like it's raining quite hard from this view, but actually if we go on board with, let's say, oh, Sven de Wulf goes wide through Pouhon and loses some time. Just wanted to go on board with him. Olivier Kaunberg's disqualified for, I guess, not taking his drive-through penalty. With Dennis had a song in the pits, but unfortunate for Olivier to be disqualified from this race. He was, I think, having a good race, having a blast with the finger racing Ferraris. Anyway, if we go on board, you can see drops are not that big anymore, and spray is quite okay as well, so it'll start raining less and less and less. So this is really interesting. If it stays like this, we will be looking at dry tires for the end of the race. That might change everything. We'll find out what kind of setups everybody is running. Double yellow flag somewhere on the track. Kevin Rowlands is in the pits, so that must mean that Bulke will be coming in the next lap, and we need to have a look at Horvat and Pavlacek to see where these guys are coming out. So Pavlacek with quite a bit of a gap to Horvat. Horvat had a good pit stop, gained some valuable seconds there, or Pavlacek had a bad one. We'll see immediately, but at least Bulke and Rowlands, they were very close, they were battling, and they had to negotiate some lap traffic, as Taplin and Arella are still within 1 second. So this is a race-long battle between these two guys for what was, I think, P7 or P8. And let's see, Horvat. And we have number 30. Is in the pits, but he's moving now. Rowlands is moving, still slowly, of course. Still has to make his way. He's now off the pit limiter, so he will keep that position. What did I say? Number 30. Yeah, he's he will keep that position. He got a bit of a gap even to Robert Horvat, but nothing too crazy. All covered by one camel straight, so that's still doable. So we have actually Bulke leading the race, and he keeps going. Lap times 2:26.7 for Bulke on the last lap. That's actually very close to what is the ultimate pace. The only one who's quicker is the Pretre with a 1:25.8. So the Pretre really on a mission. He's now 16, almost 17 seconds up the road of Max Bayer. And you could say, that's done and dusted, but still, we have an hour and 10 minutes to go, and the rain will ease off ever so slightly. So I'm predicting dry tires come the end of the race. if the forecast keeps evolving like this. Saw Arella dropping down the order. He's in the pit lane. So not that many pit stops left to go. Bulke, Taplin, Arella serving his now. Mackenberg, Sven and Marvin. And then Tino de Munk has also not come into the pits yet, but he's, well, let's say, had a bit of a worse race than we have seen from him. He's been pretty consistently around the top 10, but today he's a bit further back. So Rob Taplin. So I see now that they have also changed their team name to Useless Racers Flip, which was the nickname of their fellow useless gamer Philippe Martin, who has sadly passed away very recently. So in honor of him, they are driving completely black carbon livery, maybe to lose a bit of weight. You never know. Anyway, Bulke is now in the pits. Just came in. So again, we need to keep an eye out for Kevin Rowlands. That was very close. That was under 1 second. So Bulke needs a perfect stop to keep essentially a podium spot, because the gap to Bayer was quite big, but Bayer now 17 seconds, more than 17 seconds behind Bram de Pretre. I need to check if Bayer is in any way under threat from those guys behind. They're more or less running at the same pace, but the gap was quite big, right, to these guys. Let's see Kevin Rowlands. Whew. That's very quick. That is very quick. Because Bulke, number 2, is he stopped already? Yes, he stopped, but he's far from getting out of the pits, right? Looking at number 30, coming through Lassurus now. Down from the jacks, this will be close. This will be very, very close. We'll go on board with Rowlands. There is Bulke, and Rowlands will take the position. That's a position change. Rowlands with a slightly quicker and or better stop. He retakes his 3rd spot from Cliff Bulke, which he lost after a well, taking avoiding action for Dirk Wacht's incident at the top of Radio with the spin. Mackenberg and Tino de Munk are now also in the pits. Mackenberg is already back out. And who's coming through Radio here? That is Rob Taplin, right? Looks like it, yeah. No, it's not Rob Taplin, it's Paul Heron, who is a lap down. Okay, so we're actually looking at Cy Fillingham. He was close to Sven and Marvin. Marvin is in 12th spot now, but quite a long ways in front of Cy. We'll have to see Sven Mackenberg in the pits now. And then we'll have all first pit stops done with 1 hour and 4 minutes left on the clock. See if Sven comes out of the pits closer to Cy Fillingham. Pretty sure he should. Gaps were not that big and Cy Fillingham's pit stop was not that bad, I think. So, okay, so more rain, bit more rain coming in 30 minutes. So dry tires might not come. We'll see. 25.5 for the Pretre, 26.8 for Bayer on the last lap. So another 1.3 seconds quicker for the Belgian. For what is Team WRT, but driving the Mercedes instead of the BMW. Or the Mercedes from ASP team. And it's doing very well for him here at his home race at Spa. Kevin Rowlands also riding under the Belgian flag. Cliff Bulke as well. David Tore, Sven de Wulf, Yves Sande, and plenty more Belgians on the grid. So always it is a nice track, but if it's your home track, to which you might have been already in real life, it's always very nice to drive, just as Robert Horvat and Peter Abelovsky had 2 weeks ago at the Hungaroring. So Sven Mackenberg out of the pits and in front of Cy Fillingham. By how much? Quite a bit, 20 seconds. Okay, so Cy and Sven have lost a bit of time to these guys in front, but that's not a big deal. So let's recap. After the first pit stop cycle, we have Bram de Pretre dominantly in the lead, 20 seconds in front of Max Bayer. Then it's Kevin Rowlands reclaiming third spot. He is 45 seconds down, my timing sheet says, but we'll see how that updates on the game's timing tower in just a bit. But a long way back. Let's say then it's another 29 seconds. Cliff Bulke 1.4 behind. Robert Horvat 4.7 behind. Then Pavlacek 2 seconds. Then there's a bit of a gap to Rob Taplin, about 10 seconds, yeah, 8.5. And Rob Taplin, crucially, took 7th spot away from Arella in that pit cycle. Spent more than an hour behind him. And it just took 1 pit stop to get in front, and now a 5-second gap almost. And it's Dore Cuts to round off the top 10, and then Marvin Mackenberg. So the gap to the top 10, 15 seconds almost for Marvin and Sven Mackenberg. And then it's Cy Fillingham, Sven de Wulf again in the lead of the Aeon Cup with a solid drive so far. Tommy Kosonen 15th, Ivan Sande 16th, Tino de Munk, Alessandro Penny, Sven Hecke, Nemanja Manolovic, Ruud Dennis, Stefan Firlos and Hannah Song. Then we have Paul Heron, who has cleared his 2nd pit stop of the race. So no more pit stops normally for Paul Heron, but he picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane or for track cuts. Very, very unfortunate for him. Frank Kerveld's P25 and Jack Camaletto in 26th position, but also already having served his 2nd pit stop. So 1 hour left on the clock, and we'll see what the rest of this race brings us. bit confused because it's 9 p.m. on the server, and it's still very light, in my opinion. It should be quite a bit darker normally, but still an hour left to go. We'll race into the darkness in this coming hour, and Sven de Wilf having a great time, I think. Still hunting down Cy Fillingham, keeping those consistent laps flowing. And again, 7/10 quicker for De Pretre over Bayer. And actually, Roland's this last lap 1/10 quicker than Bayer, but yeah, that gap is 30 seconds. So without any big drama or mistakes from Bayer, Rollins has almost no chance of really getting anywhere near him. Let's have a quick look. Nemanja Manojlovic. According to my info, wrong info. Should have been behind Ruud Dennis, but that's quite a while ago, so my timing stopped working again. But he's behind Alessandro Penny now by quite a margin. And the gap between Bilke and Rollins also growing. Radek Pavlacek and Robert Horvat will be sick of seeing each other's liveries by the end of this race. Together already for the whole race, and it's not looking like that will change for the paradigm shift in the Pannonia Racing Team drivers. Dennis versus Sven Hecke for second spot in the AM Cup, and this is a perfect time to talk to you about our sponsor for this series, Trek, the Dutch sim racing hardware company, kindly sponsoring this series and offering us 250 euros in vouchers, which will be given to one of the drivers after this series has ended. Not to the fastest driver, not to the best driver, but to the driver who potentially has committed to this series, which means that only drivers who have raced and finished 7 or 8 rounds of this championship will be eligible for this prize. They will be put into a hat, and so close between Ruud and Sven. They will be put into a hat and randomly drawn for that hardware prize. So that is actually what we value most, is commitment and respect to your fellow competitors, to the organizers as well. So it's a very nice prize to win, and it keeps everybody motivated to join in these races, because as you can see, whether you're an alien at the front or racing further down the field or in the AM Cup or just having a bad day, it's very much worth it to stick around in the races and have a good one here as well. P20, P21, having a blast around Spa-Francorchamps, so why not? And then the RR League's staff and admin team have also put together a prize for committed teams. So that means teams, 2 driver teams who have competed in 7 or 8 of the rounds as well. They will be put into a hat, and the random winners there will be offered tickets to a GT World Challenge race of their choosing. And this battle is great to watch, actually. So 2 tickets, do a ticket for a GT World Challenge race of their choosing. Hopefully to go together, but if you're in different countries or it doesn't pan out, of course you can go alone or take someone with you. But also a nice prize to foster some teams, and hopefully we'll get to see some pictures from that as well. So those 2 prizes and our sponsor Trek, an extra incentive to stay on the grid here. At the moment, 26 drivers on the grid. We started with 30, so a couple of dropouts, but so far everything looking smooth. And this battle for second spot in the AM Cup looking very, very feisty. On board with Ruud Dennis. This is how close it is from within his cockpit. Oh, that puddle. Ruud is Max Bayer's teammate, so he's picking up a lot of knowledge and experience from Max, I'm sure. And he's having a blast now. Oh, Sven wide. Ruud onto the power. Looks like Ruud is in front. Yes, so no need to go side by side to Eau Rouge and Radio. That's a good thing. Can he hold on over the top of Radio and to the end of Kemmel Straight as Yves Sander comes into the pits for his final pit stop? Penny, his teammate as well, has already sorted that out. But Dennis at the moment takes second spot, and Sven Hecke brakes a bit too late and goes straight to avoid a collision with Ruud Dennis. So that gives him a little bit of breathing space. So Arella fell back behind Rob Taplin in the pit stops, and now he has another sight in his rearview mirror. It's David Torre. They have Hannah Song behind them, and then it's actually for position Florian Kutz, who is a couple of seconds back from them. You can see him in the background there in the finger racing Ferrari. So it's Mercedes versus Porsche versus Ferrari. Dora in P9, Bilke in P4. That's our top team performance so far here at Spa. I must say, the rain from these TV cams makes it show quite a lot wetter than it actually is. The track is damp, and you can see from the onboard it's almost completely dry, so tires from these cars, can't really see it here on these dashes now, but they will be quite hot, quite sure of that. And another drive-through for Ifan Sande, unfortunately. So he's not having the best day, let's say. VSP Racing currently P22, P23. Andorra versus Arella, a battle that we have seen throughout the years many times. Most of the time a bit further up the grid, but competition is so fierce in this Master Series that it's very tough. It is an achievement to be in the top 10, so that's why I also emphasized before the race the top 10 of Sven de Wulf in difficult conditions at the Hungaroring is really something to applaud. It's not easily done. Don't think within this field I would be able to do it myself, but we'll see if I get back on the racing grid in the future. Commentating is very fun, but it makes you want to race again, seeing all this great action. However, you need to be able to put the time in for practice to just get comfortable with the car and yeah, be where you want to be. Not for me, not competing for wins at the moment, but just being around the guys you're used to being around. But that's sometimes a hard reality check after being out of the game for a bit of time. Sven Hecke, Stefan Firlos in the AM Cup, they opt to go into the pits for the final pit stop. Can this change the dynamic between Hecke and Ruud Dennis for the coming 46 minutes? We'll have to see. Dore gets a bit sideways there off the exit of the chicane. A small recap now. 45 minutes left on the clock. Bram de Pretre 24.6 seconds ahead of Max Bayer, very dominantly controlling this race, but he needs to keep focused, and we're coming up very quickly onto uncharted territory for the Masters, at least. I know Bram has done some endurance races, so he has done stints that are probably longer than this race, but still concentration, being comfortable in your seat, having a drink, not having to pee, etc. It all plays a part into keeping your performance until the end of the race. And de Pretre, as we look at him, he comes into the pits. 45 minutes left on the clock. And he will be putting on the wet tires, I suppose. Don't think it's dry enough to try dry tires. I'm quite sure he would not pit as a very first guy and go to dry tires if he has Bayer 25 seconds behind and could just keep going, unless he doesn't have any fuel, of course. But de Pretre in front of Bayer, normally in front of Rollins and Bulke. A couple of seconds back from him, Robert Horvat is in front of Radek Pavlacek, but only ever so slight. Dore, however, he is looking for a move on 77, but Mercedes goes quite well through Blanchimont. But it's a rare sight to see, actually, to see the race leader being the first one to pit from, let's say, the top 15. So the Wolf is still half a second behind Cy Fillingham, so really keeping the pressure on for P13, I must add. So any big drama at the front, Means Sven can smell maybe a second top 10. As we can see, it's starting to get darker. The Mercedes really running a skinny wing, I think, because Dorne is not able to get close on the straights. Not Camel straight, also not the back straight. Coming out of Stavelo, so we'll have to do it another way, maybe through a pit stop. Bram de Pertre has paved the way for everybody else to come in. Gets back out. No issues there for him. Oh, caught a bit of a puddle there for Dorne. You can hear these guys are very much on the limit, balancing the car on that thin edge of grip in these conditions, on the curbs especially. Oh, and very quick there for Cliff. Lost out a little bit by Arella being so slow on the apex, which is his right, of course. Downshift there for Cliff. Arella rubber banding a little bit, at least from this perspective here. Is in the pits as well. Was just picking up on Predator coming up onto cuts for lap traffic, but nothing crazy. Looks like the server is having some difficulties. Pavlicek also seeming to go off the track now. Forty-one laps so far for Max Bayer. Predator having a decent pit stop. Doesn't inspire much confidence in making a mistake in the next 40 minutes. These guys keep going at it, and the Pretre is behind them. So if they stay out and the Pretre goes quickly, then we might see our race leader having an impact on this battle for P7 actually. We'll see. Maybe these guys will pit before that, of course. Arella very wide. No drive-thrus yet for these guys. But as the end of the race comes nearer, I'm betting, seeing the Discord chat later, that some drivers were nursing 3 track cut penalties for most of this race. Maybe, so we'll see. Yeah, the Pretre closing in at the rate of knots, about a second already. So he will be there very, very soon. And also Pavlacek passing Francorchamps. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that must be Francorchamps, not Sven de Wulf in the Happy Feet Racing McLaren. Ah, we look away and Dore makes the pass. Let's have a look at how he did it. Let's also save this replay and go to David Dore. Rella a bit wide through Blanchimont, keeps it ahead. To La Source. Now, a bit of a mistake maybe. Oh yeah, sideways for Arella through Eau Rouge and losing some time there. Going full defensive mode. Ooh, this will be a beautiful move. Around the outside, braking for David Dore, and it takes the position from Ralph Arella. Very nicely done. Pavlacek is in the pits, and actually let's see. The Prêtre going through radio now, so he sees, yeah, that's Arella there in the foreground. And we have Pavlacek as the first person in the pits from that battle for the podium, the final podium spot, although it wasn't that close anymore. Kosunen is in pit exit, and he rejoins the race in clean air just in front of Hannah Song. Actually, Stefan Vierloos and Sven Hekke now have already served their pit stops, and Ruud Dennis has also served his pit stop but has dropped back from these guys, so dropped back behind Sven Hekke, unfortunately for him. Vierloos and Hekke also doing a good job in the BMWs in these treacherous conditions, as Pavlacek comes out of the pits in the background. Vierloos sizing up a move, goes for the outside line. Let's change the camera to see a bit better. Wow, job done, Stefan Vierloos. Oh, bit of a problem with power. Still side by side. Epic stuff, guys. Very nice. Stefan has to leave the inside line open. Can he get it on the power early? Sven is able to defend for now, but that was warning. At least from what we've seen, warning number 1. Here comes warning number 2. Vierloos gets ahead in front of before Pujo, as Arella dives into the pits as well. And Vierloos takes provisional second spot in the AM Cup standings. Hannah Sung still has a pit stop to serve. She'll come out behind these guys. And another drive-through for Ivan Sanda. I'm not sure what what's happening. Is he having that many cuts, or not sure, but very unfortunate indeed. I hope he can still laugh about it after the race. Doesn't look like it. He has left the server, unfortunately. We'll hear about it after the race in our Discord channel. So if you want to join in on the fun here, just look up rrleaks.com or rrleaks and you'll find all of our channels and contact info very, very soon. Arella is in the pits and back out. Will Dorby coming in now at the end of this lap. Oh, stop go 30 for Ralph Arella. That's not going to do him any good. Stop and go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. That will drop him way out of the top 10, I think. Gaps are quite big, but we'll see. Max Bayer in the pits from the lead as well. Looks like it's starting to rain a bit more now again. Anyway, Bayer in the pits and Arella can be discarded from that battle with David Dore. David comes into the pits. Maybe has not seen that Ralph has a stop go 30. We'll see that soon, but in any case, doesn't need to worry about Ralph anymore. We'll see if David can make his way up the grid even further. The gap between Rollins and Bulke, that's for P3, 2.9 seconds. Half an hour still on the clock, so anything still goes, but it's getting tough. Rollins seems to have the upper hand against Bulke. Hannah Song as well in the pits for her final pit stop. So we'll see that play out as well. Sven de Wolf still has to make his pit stop, of course. So that's when we will get a clearer picture of the AM Cup standings, because only Frank Gervelds still needs to pit and he is already in last position. Alessandro Penny. So as if it's not enough for Ethan Sander to get, I think, what was it, 4 drive-thrus, Alessandro Penny from VSP Racing gets slapped with another one. Robert Horvat. He's only 10 seconds behind Cliff Bulke, and Pavracek is right in between them, so margins are still very fine. A small slide here or there can mess up everything. Arella in the pits. And Bayer already out of the pits again. Just got past Sven and Marvin Mackenberg. No, only Sven. It looks like Marvin is a bit further up the road, 8 seconds to be precise. Fortunately, timing has crashed again. So we'll watch Max Bayer for just a little bit, see if this resolves itself. It's getting dark very quickly now. Manojlovic, he is a lap down from these guys. There's Arella P16 at the moment. So I'm quickly giving you the overview poster again, and I'll exit out of the game.
Green light. Go, go, go.
And we're driving on board with Stefan Firlos. Who is still in second spot of the AM Cup. Sven de Wolf still has a pit stop left to do. Pavlacek is right behind Dore. It's not in Pavlacek's plans. Dore has gained a position here, so Pavlacek must have had a bad pit stop or a mistake somewhere. Setting up for a good exit here. Of course, traction for the Porsche is good. They have Stefan Firlos in front of them. Track conditions are showing damp, but for me, it's quite wet. It looks quite wet at least. Minutes, and quite some people still having to get a pit stop in. Our race leader, virtually at least, Bram de Preter, coming up on Rob Taplin, who's doing a good job here tonight as well again. His teammate, of course, was forced to pit early. He's in P20 right now. Let's see if he can still move up gap to Sven Hegge in front. 7.7. It's not massive, so anything goes. Taplin versus De Prêtre. Well, this is for position, although Taplin still has to make a pit stop, so Taplin can make this as hard or easy as he would prefer for Bram De Prêtre. Bram might welcome the challenge, maybe, of trying to get past the car on track. Who fights back, because he has started on pole, of course, and was not really challenged at any point this evening. Cy filling him in the pits. Can he make the difference versus Sven de Wulf in their race-long battle? Taplin is not moving over. That's clear. So Bram will, or he is moving over. Sorry. I was hoping Bram needed to find a way through, but Rob doing the sensible thing and not risking an incident here or there and lose more positions. He's running strong in the top 10 and coming into the pits actually for his final pit stop of the race. The track has gone back to wet, so people might be or might start struggling with pressures again, especially people who have been on their tires for a while, like, for example, Bram De Prêtre. Whereas Rob Taplin now should be able to adjust for the decreasing temperature and more rain coming and forecast for the next 20 minutes. So Taplin and Horvath and Bilke and Rollins might have left it to a good moment to pit. Fillingham is in P14. He came out after his pit stop. And quite ways behind Florian Kutz. De Pretre's next victim, we can see him there in the foreground, is Robert Horvath. So our top three still to pit. Rob Taplin in the pits now, dropping down the order. He will come out more or less with David Dore. Dore with Pavlacek. So Pavlacek got back past Dore, if I remember that correctly. Pavlacek was already, or also quite some time up from Dore earlier, so does have a bit more pace in the car, it seems. Sven de Wulf now in the pits from the lead of the AM Cup. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Cy Fillingham. Robert Horvath also going to the pits. Rob Taplin comes out in 8th position. Actually, Francorchamps Motors on the Pannonia Racing Team livery of Robert Horvath. A nice but simple livery there for him. Bram De Prêtre moving up the order. 2 more cars to go. Bilke and Rollins, who are still to pit. De Wulf comes out of the pits. Right in that battle. Of Pavlacek and Dore and one of the Mackenberg brothers. And let's see Horvat. Clean air for him. And Paul Heron in the pits again, unfortunately, for fuel, I'm guessing. Or new tires. Might have gambled on dry tires, not sure. But not what you want with 70 minutes on the clock. There's Horvat and Taplin. Right behind, 2.7 only behind. So crucially, Horvat 13 seconds up from Radek Pavlacek. So Pavlacek obviously has lost some time here during or after his pit stop because he's had to make his way past David Dore at least to get back where he is now. Tino de Munk together with Sven and Marvin Mackenberg, Cliff Bilke and Kevin Rowlands are the only ones still with a mandatory pit stop on the board. Let's go on board with Taplin because, as I said, he might have picked the perfect moment to pit and get it spot on with this wet weather pressures with these conditions. It's starting to rain harder and harder now. Very smooth with his steering inputs. So if everything goes well, this will be a great result again for Taplin. Mackenberg brothers will come out behind after the pit stops, surely, and he has a chance of challenging Robert Horvat, so that's essentially looking at P5 maybe for him. Lamborghini versus Ferrari. And will Rowlands, Bilke, Mackenbergs and Tino de Munk leave it until the last moment as Robert Horvat goes wide into Brussels and loses the spot to Rob Taplin. Very, very unfortunate there. Can Robert get that back? Can he challenge Taplin again? Taplin, big slide there through Pouhon. Very aggressive on the curbs there, but seems to work out. Actually, this battle is close, but what's even closer, Bilke versus Rowlands. So very obviously, Bilke in the Porsche working better with more rain. That gap was about 3 seconds earlier, not too long ago actually, and now it's down to 7/10. So Bilke good chance of grabbing that final podium spot here. He has 13 minutes left to make the pass on Kevin Rowlands and have a good pit stop. That will be crucial. And he can now know from the pressures that he had set if he needs to make some slight adjustments, but he is quick, that's for sure. 28.6. The only ones quicker are De Pretre and Bayer. And Florian Kutz actually as well. 227.5. 227.2, sorry. So they're not the quickest, but this is for the podium, and Sven de Wulf has come out of the pits in front of Nemanja Manojlovic and in front of Stefan Vierloos by quite a margin, but he's still having to keep an eye out for Sven Hecke, only 6 seconds behind him. Where is De Pretre actually? He's on Atlas Source now, so he's not going to catch these guys very soon, or at least not before they have to pit still in any case. Coming up onto Hannah Song in the Lamborghini. Blue flags. No, Hannah. Very unfortunate for Cliff. Loses out on a potential podium spot there for him. Hannah, of course, very difficult with the spray in the darkness to spot at least that there were 2 cars there, and well, that there was space for sure for Cliff to go in. So that battle broken up, unfortunately, and Rowlands has made his way past Hannah Song. Yes, he did. So no more big challenges ahead for him, except for, of course, that pit stop. I think Bilke, if he has his pit stop presets set up, he will pit now and hope that he can gain some valuable seconds over Kevin Rowlands in these final stages of the race with superior setup and pressure work. Gap now almost 10 seconds, so it's quite big, but a pit stop you can easily gain or lose 3-4 seconds if you don't get it perfectly right. And then if you have some good or better pressures than your opponent, anything is still possible. Tino de Munk in the pits. So now we only have Bilke, Rowlands, Mackenberg, Marvin and Sven coming in, and Bilke keeps going. I would have thought, no, well, he's not going to change tires anymore, obviously. He's just going for the splash and dash, so can't make the difference there, probably. It's my mistake. In that case, the Pretre might still play a role here. 10 minutes left on the clock. Oh, 9 minutes actually. Let's have a look, because Pavlacek and Horvat They are battling it out as close as ever into the braking zone for the final chicane. Bus stop. Bilke already 1 second gained over Rollins, but that's not quick enough, unfortunately. So he needs something in the pit stop, I think. Pavlacek is on a mission. He's right there. Actually, Sven de Wilf only 1 second behind Tino de Munk for P15. So also there. Still close after 2.4 hours of racing for position. But these guys have been close all race long. Radek trying every trick in the book to find a gap there. But at the moment, Horvat is rock solid. Working 55 laps now. So already now a good job to everybody who has joined us for this race and finished it. Late braking for Pavlacek. Horvat needs to leave the room. Horvat has a bit better traction, I think. He has the inside line for the source. And he's able to defend and make his way down to Eau Rouge and over Radio in front of Radek Pavlacek with a clear view. That will for sure help. 5 minutes left now, so these 4 drivers who have still to pit, they will be doing that any moment now. The Pretre 1.4 behind Bilke now. And again, Pavlacek trying to go the long way around. Oh, that's a bit wide. Or is it? Doesn't seem like it, but Horvat still has the inside line. Great racing by these two RRL veterans. Now Horvat needs to stick it up the inside or he will lose the position, which he does as instructed. A bit of a slide there now. Pavlacek will have the inside line, and that was a small touch, but there was no more space there. Pavlacek gets through. And Cliff Bilke is in the pits. Pavlacek gets through on Robert Horvat for P8 after a titanic battle, I must say. Very nice to watch. Let's have a quick look because Sven de Wilf, I think, he has something planned again for the final minutes of the race. He took P10 in the final stages at Hungaroring. Can he make the move on Tino de Munk for P15 this time around? Bilke in the pits, Mackenberg in the pits, Rollins and Sven Mackenberg keep going for one more lap. at most, because there's no more time. Good exit for Sven de Wulf. Has a look on the inside. Has some overlap. Surely Sven will get this done. Tino is right there, but Sven de Wulf makes the pass for P15. Nicely done, indeed. So everything settling down. Our actual race leader, Bram de Pretre, is still not in the lead with 2 minutes left on the clock. So splash and dash, the way to go here at Spa now with these settings. And Cliff Bilke has his pit stop done and dusted. We'll have to see when Kevin Rowlands comes in whether he gets a good pit stop. Rowlands comes in now.
Leaders on final lap now.
And the leader is on the final lap. De Pretre finally taking the lead of this race with 1.5 minutes still to go, but let's have a look at Rowlands. That's Fillingham coming through. He's in P12 now. Good result for him. Was rooting a bit for him to get a decent race, and looks like he got one. So good on you. Rowlands coming in, and then Sven Mackenberg will be coming in very, very soon as well. Let's see if this is a quick splash and dash for him, or if you have some last minute drama for the rest. Emmanuel Manojlovic is right behind Tino de Munk as well, and Ruud Dennis right behind Alessandro Penny. Back out for Kevin Rowlands. That was flawless. Where is Cliff Bilke coming out of La Source? So no chance. Rowlands has to negotiate the puddle, which he does. And I think that's Jack Camaletto. Yes, it is. He lets Rowlands go. So Sven Mackenberg is the final driver to make a pit stop, and I will know in the final order, but top 3 is more or less known now. And back out. So coming up on the final chicane and the end of this race, Bram de Pretre leading it from pole position and taking the win at Spa-Francorchamps, and putting Max Beyer under pressure a bit for the championship, taking some valuable points there. And well, congratulations to Bram for winning on home soil with a very, very dominant, flawless performance from what we could see. Didn't put a foot wrong. Maybe that wasn't the case. We'll hear about it after the race in our Discord channel. Max Beyer takes what he can get. P2 was a maximum for him today, but a solid result for him. And then the gap to Kevin Rowlands is quite sizable, about 30 seconds. But even after a bit of an incident or a bit of drama with Dirk Weight's car at the top of Radio, he had some good strategy, made the pass for third spot on Cliff Bilke, and fended him off to take P3 here on home soil as well. Then it's Cliff Bilke, not too far back, taking P4. He will be happy with that, of course, as well. And then Rob Taplin in honor of his fellow useless racer Philippe Martin, taking P5 here at Spa. He will be delighted with that, I'm quite sure. Radek Pavlacek is right there with him, and Robert Horvat, after that pass from Radek Pavlacek, dropping back a bit, unfortunately. He's in front of Stefan Firlos, that's not for position. Cuts taking P8. Dorhe taking P9 for the top team points scoring result for intense racing. Marvin and Sven Mackenberg going for the photo finish. So that will warrant a nice picture after the race, I guess. But Marvin finishing in front of Sven Mackenberg, Tommy Kosonen in 12th. Then it's Ralph Arella already stopped in P14. Sven de Wulf P15 taking the win in the AM Cup. Very solid drive for him. He's actually almost a minute, 50 seconds in front of his closest contender today, Stefan Firlos, and then Sven Hecke 20 seconds further down. Tino Domink and Manojlovic were in between them. Then Alessandro Penny in P20, Ruud Dennis P21 also had a good race. Hannah Song, Paul Heron, Frank Gervelds, who else left the server, and Jack Camaletto in P24. A couple of dropouts as well, but many congratulations to all of the drivers for this solid race, solid result. I think a pretty much clean first lap, except for, who was it? Was it Paul Heron? I think it was. Who was caught out there by a bit of an incident on the first lap, but for the rest it looked very civilized, very good for, well, what was essentially our real endurance round of this season. So that's always nice to see and provides some good racing. So that was 2.4 hours of Spa. Thanks to all of the drivers for the great action. And we actually have Max Beyer joining us in the booth. Hi Max, good evening. How was that race for you? Max maybe trying to sort out his audio, but in any case.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I speak all the time. I haven't pushed the button. Okay,
No
no,
worries,
I
no
had
worries.
a great race. Thank you, and I was happy that it rained. But Graham was too fast for me. But apart from that, I'm super satisfied. I mistakenly closed my rear brake ducts a bit before the race. That messed up my second stint a bit, where it was only very light rain. But apart from that, I'm really happy, and I still have lead in the championship, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see. One race goes wrong, everything is open again.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I said in the stream as well. It's quite close, and yeah, at the moment you haven't had any bad races or bad results yet, but
Not
never
yet.
say never.
I hope.
Let's hope
That stays.
let's hope not. Let's hope it's battled out on the track. But still plenty of points.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
The best is to win the championship. Yeah, without incidents or some unlucky issues. So
yeah,
we'll see.
indeed. But yeah, solid performance, and yeah, Bram, we saw it on the timing sheets. He was in a league of his own today.
Yeah, he was very fast in the first stint, and in the second even more. So yeah, very very good race from him. Congratulations to him. Very nice.
Let's drag him in here. He's ready for an interview as well. Hi Bram, good evening. Max was just congratulating you on the win. good job.
Hey Bram, congrats.
Hey guys,
That
good
was
evening. Thank you.
pretty dominant.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it went to plan, I would say.
Yeah.
Wasn't easy, but yeah.
For you guys, was there any point in the race where you thought we might be going to slicks later on, or not at all?
It was possible in theory. You never know what. Yeah, in such a long race, it's always possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 45 minutes could have been dry as well, so a bit lucky where it stayed wet.
Yeah, indeed. I was betting on slicks come the last half hour, but then the forecast updated to a bit more rain. And actually, I don't know for you guys, but for example, Cliff was well, struggling, let's say, a bit in the middle part of the race, but then when the rain started coming down a bit harder later on, he got a lot faster again. But unfortunately could not battle it out with Kevin due to a small incident with lap traffic. So that was unfortunate for the final spot on the podium.
Yeah,
very unfortunate.
I think they only did for a one stop on the tires.
Yeah,
from what
indeed.
I could see, they
indeed. Yeah, indeed.
I wasn't sure what I was gonna do until until I was on the grid actually. So I was looking at the weather. I saw it was already gonna change after about half an hour, so decided not to do the one stop, at least for the tires. I mean, so.
Yeah, okay.
And then I wasn't sure what was going on with Max because I was gaining some distance, but not enough. And I thought for a second he was running a full tank. So
yeah, I had a full tank. That's my mistake. I started with a full tank. I refueled 90 liter with the first stop. So don't know why, but too much fuel.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Did you drive a mixed setup or a wet setup?
Let's say light rain, so I wouldn't mind if it was gonna go to dry. Like I had like 4 setups ready, depending on but I use my, let's say, hybrid setup, which works in both conditions, but it wouldn't have worked in heavier rain. So for me, it was ideal, like halfway in the race. That was for me the best part because that's when the setup was
pulled away,
shining. But in the first part, I had to be very careful because it was quite deadly. Yeah. Oh well, it worked.
yeah,
It was a fun race.
That makes the championship ever so close going into Brands Hatch and Nürburgring for the next or for the final 2 races. So we'll see what that brings in terms of weather and performances for you guys. But it has been a battle all season long between you two, and then for the final podium spot, it's always been someone else. Today it's Kevin. So good job on him as well. But we'll see in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for joining me here, and well, watch the stream later on the week.
Will do for sure.
Thanks for streaming and broadcasting. Very nice, always to see it after the race.
Yeah, no worries. It was a nice view as well. But from the TV cams, it always looks like it's raining a lot harder than it is. Then when we go on board, it was quite dry, so it was a bit confusing.
Okay, nice.
Anyway,
good.
Thanks guys.
So
you can
nice
stay
evening.
here. I'll
okay, guys.
jump out of
Good
this
evening.
channel.
See you later. Bye bye.
See you.
See
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So hearing from our first and second place guys in this race and the championship, always nice to hear, and you can see a lot of preparation goes into these races, especially if you have unpredictable weather. And I'm going to quickly check what we are looking at for the next race. As I said, Brands Hatch, 90-minute race, and well, some probably a drier kind of race. There's always some variability, but not looking like torrential rain, at least at Brands Hatch. Very good track for racing, but yeah, very narrow as well. So always a bit hectic, especially on the first lap. That's for 2 weeks' time. Many thanks for joining us tonight for this longest broadcast of the season. We started a bit earlier today due to that, but it was a great race with nice battles up and down the field and some great respectful racing. So good job to all competitors. Thanks for all you viewers, and give the stream a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And we'll be here in 2 weeks' time for round 7 of this championship from Brands Hatch. Have a very good evening and see you later.